There it goes.
Yay! Hi.
We am live. And we coordinated that by accident. That's funny. I still want to know why the timer says 1 minute. I guess that's our delay. I don't know why we have a 1 minute delay. That's ridiculous. But it doesn't coordinate or doesn't coincide with anything that I know of.
Sorry, I forgot to turn off notification sounds.
Yeah. I did make it public, right? Because I didn't see anybody waiting.
I got notifications saying that
we went live. Okay, yeah, because I just thought about that. It's like, did it actually set to go live?
I know Plastic Cannibals is doing something tonight as well. So
yeah, they were trying to do Toy Fair stuff. Because I know Ryan was on somebody else's chat last night trying to get things set up. And then Art and Ryan wanted to do a thing like right now.
yeah.
So I talked to Arthur this morning, and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing tonight? You want to get on this live stream?" I was like, "I literally have my own live stream to do. I've been telling you this for weeks." You're like, "Can we do a live stream Sunday?" I'm like, "Unless it's earlier than 7 o'clock, probably not." So hopefully they get it together. I know I saw a message just now. They're trying to see who all wants to jump in, but we're busy. We got stuff to talk about. Hi guys.
Yes.
I know Totally Not Marlin is here as usual. He did comment earlier. Him and Joey both commented that there's no Shoki version of the thumbnail this week. So sorry about that, guys. This was kind of a serious episode, like almost all the way through. And then like I had a plan for doing a more comedic thumbnail, and it'll come up, but someone had an issue with his skin tone slightly changing to be Sayla. I wasn't gonna be absurd or grotesque about it, but you're slightly pale. I would have had to darken you a little, like a tiny bit, just go with the blue hair.
We're not doing that.
I would not have put a dot on your head. I'm not trying to be offensive. I'm just trying to make it fit the color of the person. There's also not a lot of black people in this show. I don't know if you realize that. Wait, I said Sayla, I think.
You did say Sayla, but I knew what
so there's no Sayla, it's Lala. For anybody who just can't get their named character together, named character.
We haven't seen any sign of Sayla since we started following just Char, haven't we?
Pretty much. That was a lot of alliteration as well. Surprised you got that sentence out. That was difficult. But either way, I had a more comedic thing set up. If I have time tomorrow, maybe I'll do it just for fun and I'll share it. But I got to get him to be Lala. I won't change the color of your skin if it makes you feel better. But the problem is that Char wasn't really in any interesting positions in this. I was kind of going to go with crazy face Char, but then I would have to mimic that face. And then I was going to actually do the overlay of the glasses over my face and all that. It would have been really hard to do. But it would have been fun. But ultimately, I really liked the thumbnail as it came out. Yeah. That was like a really, like, for those who don't know, I do these things on my phone. I used to do them on my computer, like, fairly quickly, but the software is super limited versus the app that I have on my phone. And, oops, let me kill the volume there. But I figured this actually came out really nice with Char's face and then the post battle thing there, and then the reflection of Lala in there that I actually added. That came out really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we forgot. That's our thing. What we're going to talk about first, but we'll get there in a minute, Androius. Why does everybody always jump ahead before we get to what we're going to talk about? I did forget to rewatch the Re-Rise trailer, so I hope you took notes.
I didn't take any notes, but I did take a look at it again real quick.
Okay, if you watched it again, I forgot. It was coming down to the wire for me.
Same.
Right now.
I was doing some stuff with the family.
I saw you tie-dyeing. I saw you tie-dyeing your shirt. But guys, I wanted to tell a story. If you're following me on the Facebooks, I said that I'm going to have a story from Miss Shoki, and I was saving it for this. I didn't even tell him. him. I gotta get my points right again. So if you guys were watching last night, I did the live stream, went kind of late. It's because Miss Shoki was out of town. She had a funeral to go to. And so she's, you know, an hour and a half away or so. And we talked this morning, and she ends up having to leave a bit earlier than planned. There were some issues with the people they're staying with. It was time to go. So
gotcha.
Now she's had some minor car issues for a little while, mostly a tire that's been acting up. She's got another screw in it or something. But we put air in it before she left, so shouldn't have been a problem. She had no problems getting there, doing whatever she had to do, driving around town, stuff like that, no problems. So this morning, she leaves to come home, and she says, I'm leaving. And she calls me like 20 minutes later, and she's at Starbucks. Gotta stop, gotta get the coffee, right? And she's like, hey, baby, my car's making a really weird noise.
Uh-oh.
It's making kind of a hissing sound. It sounds like air coming out of the tire. But normally I can't hear that stuff. So it's really strange. And she's like, it's only happening when I accelerate or come to a stop. And like, in my mind, being the mechanic I am, I'm like, okay, let's run down the list. And so I asked her, I was like, is it overheating? And she's like, no, it's fine. I didn't notice anything. I was like, is your tire light on? No. I was like, okay, so odds are it's probably not the tire if that's not that. But my worry is that like maybe the radiator or a hose or something broke, and we're hearing the steam come out of the engine. So I tell her, I was like, also, double check, look under the car, make sure there's nothing hanging out, nothing dripping, stuff like that. Because she also says like maybe it sounds like I ran over something and it's dragging, She said that might have been a possibility. And she was out in the country and then drove into town to go to Starbucks. So, she had to put some miles on there. And so she's still in Starbucks. I'm like, okay, when you're done, go outside. You said it's doing it only when you're hitting the pedals, whether you're stopping or going. First, don't even turn the car on. Just roll your window down, get in the car, and just put your, push the pedals and see if it makes a noise.
Yeah.
Because it could be totally related to something in those systems, right? So I hang up with her. I'm kind of indisposed, so I'm wanting to get off the phone a little bit, if you catch my drift. And so 5 minutes later, she calls me back. And so I'm like, oh, geez, here we go. And she doesn't sound concerned anymore. In fact, she's giggling a little bit.
Okay.
So when she went back to the car, she wanted to make sure that, she wanted to check everything was fine. And, she had packed and everything for the trip. And she had grabbed some stuff while up there to, drink and have fun with her friends, who she was staying with, stuff like that. So she opens the back door to go check her stuff and comes to an immediate realization of what was making the noise. It's a bottle of wine in a plastic bag that was rolling across the floor when she was accelerating or coming to a stop. So imagine this. Every time she came to the frickin' stop. So okay, she calls me.
I can see how that'd be concerning, yeah.
So she calls me, laughing her ass off at herself for this. So this is the undrank bottle of wine they bought. And she's like, she'd settle on the floor, and being the smart person she is, she laid it down so it can't tip over and smash. There she is. In fact, she knows I'm telling the story.
Oh, you're telling the story?
Oh. Yeah. So, yeah, I just told. Yeah, she's turning red. So that's the wonderful, lovely Miss Shoki over there, and her
a good thing I'm pretty.
Very hungover state this morning. Clearly didn't realize she put that bottle of wine back there. She's like, she was super scared that she was going to have to find like a tire shop or a mechanic that would be open on a Sunday morning to have a look at her car, thinking she's going to have a major mechanical failure. And it's a fucking bottle of wine.
But it's going.
Yeah, it was doing this.
Yeah.
See, I was starting to wonder if like a snake had gotten into the car or something like that.
Yeah, it's literally hissing at her from the back seat.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a good thing you're pretty. Love you too, baby. So yeah, that's the story that I got to hear first thing this morning. And like I said, it's a good thing she's pretty. Because that was really dumb. I thought I drank too much. But either way. So let's talk about the Build Divers Re-Rise promo video that dropped the other day. It was fine and basically didn't tell us a whole lot more than the poster did.
Which isn't too surprising because they've been, I mean, from the beginning, they've been kind of secretive in a way because they should be, yeah. I mean, because this entire season has been kind of a different animal in comparison to almost all of the Build series.
Yeah, very, very different. So we see a lot of Freddy, like right off the bat, because he's going to what remains of the temple. You kind of see it in the multiple things. And then we get the divers returning. This is just me going off watching this like Thursday or whatever day that dropped. I don't know. We see
the new Core Gundam. I can't remember if there's a specific name for it or something like that. I keep on hearing people call it Core 1 or something like that, but I don't know.
Okay, it's the new one is the Core 2.
Core 2, is that what it's called? Okay.
I accidentally called it the Core 1 in my video because I couldn't see the other I, so it's Core I.
Oh, okay.
It was cut off, so I thought it said Core 1. It's Core 2, obviously. Okay. So
but we see the Core 2 equipped with some weapons off of a documenter. Like you see, I think he's holding the sword and the shield.
You've gone full robot.
Oh, can you hear me now? Yes,
I can hear you, but you're glitching real bad.
Okay, should I?
I don't know what you should. Unfortunately.
And I'm back. Maybe.
You're back. I don't know what you did. Did you turn something off?
Yeah, I turned Wi-Fi off.
Okay.
So maybe that'll help. Sucking up my data plan.
It's fine. It's fine. We gotta find a way to make that laptop work for you or something. Either way, so
I was saying we saw the Core 2 was equipped with a Valkylander's shield and I think maybe its sword.
Oh, that's right. That's right. It did have that. I forgot about that. You're right. God knows why he's using the Valkylander stuff. Obviously, something has gone down. But really, we get a whole bunch of disjointed scenes and stuff like that. I know we see the evil core by itself, and they're like trying to jump into a battle. And I think if I remember correctly, that might be where they show like the purple rings on its eye. And
we also saw a corrupted or evil version of the Windam from Gundam Seed.
I didn't see that, but once again, I wasn't paying that much attention. I must have missed that.
It has a face similar to that corrupted Daughters that we saw in season 1, but it has it has a V-fin thing and the Windam shield, but it has like 3 spikes on the front of it.
Okay, so that's what that was. I just assumed it was an upgraded Daughters. So he's just finding more stuff to steal and alter. Yeah. But one thing they make clear, at least through this, is that it is Alice controlling the new like evil core. Because they make sure you see like the purple rings on the head of it, and then they jump to his eye with the rings in it. You also do get to see it fully decked out in its, or at least initial armor, one that's like very, very similar to the Earth 3 or Rookie 1 type armor. I don't think did we see Valkylander in this? I don't think we did. I know we saw May and we saw the May doll. I don't remember.
And we saw the May doll equipped with
a shield
with Justice Knight's shield on her back, which was weird.
Some kind of shield.
But we didn't. I don't think we saw the Valkylander. And the thing that you and I noticed is that there was absolutely no sign of the Justice Knight Gundam other than somebody else with its shield, which was weird. And you noticed on the poster that he's nowhere, that
it's absent.
He's
completely.
there, but his gunpla isn't.
Yeah. So basically, we know Cosme's there. We see him. We already know he's going along for a trip for where it ended. But there's no sign of his Gundam at all. And I mentioned it when I talked about the teasers and all that. That it's interesting to see that other people seem to either be using his stuff or have things kind of influenced by his. Now that's just me looking at what's in front of me and trying to put 2 and 5 together. And I don't know. It's like we're going to see more in April whenever it finally gets around. Hopefully, we'll get more promotional videos, as long as I don't give anything away. Oh, we did see the pilot of the Celsam again, and he was yelling,
screaming with the eyes glowing. I'm probably indicating that like he's trying to get control of himself, but Alice is like, "No, you're my meat puppet."
Yeah, no, that's the same thing I was thinking, Jerry, that's why the Wyndham is coming out for HG, is because they have this kit.
It's kind of the same reason like when we had the Leo NPD come out and the regular Leo
came out right
and the Death Army and the Death Army are what do they call? What do they end up calling the kits? Yeah,
the Eldora Brood, which is in stores right now. I saw it the other day.
In stores now. Look at that.
In stores now. By the way, I did place an order for a Build Divers kit on Thursday, so that should be here soon.
Ooh, what'd you get?
I'm not going to tell you.
Aw.
You have to wait for some other type of video that I do whenever I get new stuff in. Also,
it's in the bathroom. No.
Could be a thing. Is this a 1 wiper or a 2 wiper? Let's see. Anyways,
good night, everybody.
The Wyndham adopting the Leo 30mm joint system is very promising. It seems like everything's just going to be just Leo based from now on. It's Leos all the way down. They never used the Maganak. That's true. That's just them building up. So have you seen an abundance of people in Facebook groups and stuff like, man, I guess maybe we're never going to get the rest of the HG Gundam kits or HG Wing Gundam kits? And it's just like, do you think they're just going to stop at Sandrock? Like, they did Sandrock and that's it. That's the end of the game. No, you're getting an entirely new HG Wing line. So
they're just spreading it out, like basically 1 or 2 releases every year because they make a lot of shit.
I mean, they're probably putting out across different lines, not counting re-releases. There are probably 200 kits coming out this year.
Yeah, and the re-releases is the thing that you got that I don't think anybody necessarily thinks about when they're talking about, oh, why aren't they releasing more Gundam Wing stuff? Because it's been mentioned that Bandai very rarely has something go completely out of print. And so just every so often they power up their machines and they pop out an entire run of kits that were from the 90s. That's how we ended up getting the G-Unit stuff a few years back, how they ran a bunch of stuff from V Gundam recently. That was primarily for a special event in Hong Kong or something, but still, they only have so many machines in their factories.
Yeah. It seems like they've been focused on the MG side story equipment packs for the wing kits. Yeah, that's true. They're releasing all of those. But you got to think that's a small run, extra couple set of runners thing, not building entirely new kits. They don't have to devise a whole ton of stuff for that. They just run the MG kits, and then they throw in add-on parts. That's not a giant new, fully from the ground up design kit,
Yeah. Plus, from what I know from Transformers, it takes roughly a year or two from writing on the marker board, okay, we want to make such and such toy.
Yeah.
To go into, here's the toy on store shelves now, bug your parents.
Yeah. So you got to think about this. So any kit you're seeing now has usually been in development for probably 2 years.
Yeah.
More than likely, unless it is very directly based off of something that already exists. So anything that's going to be based off of, say, the HGUC 203 to whatever the Gym ground type was, and then you got the Gundam ground type, then you got all the Blue Destinies, all that. Those were all based off the same kit, slightly modified. So all they had to do is plan the first couple, and then they're just modifying runners along the way.
So and those were all kind of released around the same time too, weren't they?
Over the course of 2 years, yeah.
Yeah.
1 year. So I mean, anything new, and you say they're focused on a lot of things. Look at all the AOZ stuff they've been cranking out. Not just the Hazel, the basic Hazel re-releases, but all of the Woundwort types, all of the add-on packs, all of those things. I mean, they're doing a ton of work, and people are only pissed about the 2 kits they're not doing. And I guarantee you those 2 kits are probably coming that you really want, because usually they're going to be a popular thing. I mean, they're doing a freaking Shokyu for you. It's only taken them how long? 20 years to bother making another kit for that?
Yeah. And it's not even the one that I really, really like.
Yeah, you want the other one, but
I want the Rig Shoku, which will probably actually the regular Shoku is already P Bandai.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
No, I'll have to look that up. There's a lot of exclusives coming.
It'll be like double P Bandai. You have to
double extra P Bandai, which that would just be if that was the case, that would just be Gundam base exclusive, basically.
True.
But either way, that doesn't matter. So for everybody, all the doubters that think you're just not gonna get the next Wing Gundam kit, it's probably gonna be. Let's see. It's been a long time since I watched Wing. What was the first Gundam we saw on Wing?
First one we saw was Wing.
Okay.
And
I was wondering if they were releasing them in any order of appearance, since I got Sandrock first. But
because we got Wing Zero already from the HD AC line.
Yeah, but they totally can redo those. It's been a while since they did that.
Well, they were released during that that line that came out with Build Fighters.
Oh.
When they were trying to basically make every single main Gundam.
Oh, they abandoned that shit. I know what you're talking about. They abandoned that real quick, but who knows? They might redo it.
What's funny is
I just wasn't sure if they were going by. I didn't know. It's been so long since I watched it. I didn't know when Sandrock appeared first, when any of them came.
Trying to think what it was, because I want to say we see Heavy Arms first, because they do basically a quick little at the end of episode 1, they do a quick little thing where they show all the other Gundams have landed on Earth and are blowing up stuff.
They're attacking different spots.
And I want to say we see Heavy Arms first, then maybe Death Scythe, then not Shenlong, Ultron, no.
Shenlong.
Nataku. We saw Nataku.
Nataku, Shenlong, Ultron, they're all the same freaking thing.
Yeah. And then maybe ended with Sandrock.
Yes, he's talking about the All Gundam project. That's what he was talking about.
Okay.
But anyway, I was just wondering. So, I mean, in theory, we've already gotten a custom Ultron.
Yeah.
Which means we're going to get a normal version of the Shenlong or whatever like that. It's coming. Just be patient. They have a lot to do.
Yeah.
So just wait, it's coming. Shut up. Just shut up. That's all I gotta say. Thoughts on the new Transformers Siege trailer that came out?
I liked it.
It's okay. It's not Peter Cullen doing Optimus Prime. That's interesting.
Peter Cullen hasn't been tapped, with the exception of like the movie, for a little bit now, I want to say.
Yeah, well, he did the Machinima series.
He didn't do the first one. If he did Machinima, it would have been the second or third series. But he
did it.
They had an epic movie voice guy do Optimus Prime in
you're right.
Rhino Wars one.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. That was John Bailey. Never mind. Yeah, that's true. So wait, what was the last other? I could have sworn he did another Optimus. It wasn't.
He did. He was Optimus in.
I know he's Prime.
The Robots in Disguise series. That
the one post Prime, right?
Yeah.
The Prime.
Yeah, Robots in Disguise 2.
Yeah.
I don't think he is doing Prime in Cyberverse.
I don't know. I have no clue. I wouldn't guess that. But yeah, you're right. I completely forgot that was John Bailey doing him in the Machinima series. Because he does such a good version. He imitates Peter Cullen so well.
Yeah, he wasn't too bad.
No,
I mean, you could tell it wasn't. It's like you could tell it wasn't Peter Cullen, but it was still a pretty good, facsimile thereof.
It also wasn't his like jokey version, like that he would do. That he would do for Nostalgia Critic. So whenever he was on Nostalgia Critic and he needed to do a Prime voice, he was always doing like an over-exaggerated version, but still was good. But no, maybe it is him. We have to look. We have to look and see if that's him doing the voice again. My only problem with this is it's not even the series. I'm hoping the series is good. It's cool that they're going from the toy designs, so they look like their toy designs.
Supposedly they're actually using the CAD files from Hasbro.
That's what a lot of people have said. My problem is that they're selling us Siege toys again with battle damage or alternate colors. And no, I'm not buying more versions of the same shit. Sorry.
I may pick up Hound since I didn't get him the first time around.
Dude, he's still on shelves at Walgreens.
I haven't been to a Walgreens.
Go to Walgreens. I guarantee you, he's still sitting on the shelf at Walgreens, and probably Red Alert as well. That's usually what's just taking up space there. Most of the ratchets have been bought, but
part of me is tempted to pick up. They have a repaint of a refractor called like Scrape Face or something like that.
Yeah,
he's tempted to pick that up to go with my normal color refractor.
Yeah, I'm just wondering where they got that color scheme from. I assumed it's just from some random other side thing because it's not like those G1 toy color ones that they re-released. He looks like Smokescreen.
I almost thought it was some sort of weird version of Perceptor at first.
Yeah.
I'd have to look it up. It might be Magnificus, which was the Diaclone version of Perceptor. It was used as a Decepticon repaint of Perceptor as a was it an eHobby release or something like that?
I have no idea. First episode of what? Ricky Todd Patello said he loved the first episode. I don't know what he's talking about. I think it's some of the same staff as the Machinima series, just the studio moved with WB acquisition of Machinima.
I certainly hope it's not. I don't think that is.
I think the Rooster Teeth absorbed the studio. I'm okay with that. Rooster Teeth does good work.
Teeth does good work. The people who did the Machinima series did not.
No. Now, the acting was fine. The voice acting was great. Wasn't applied very well, but the voice acting was great. My problem with all of those series is that they had little to do with the toy line except for having the figures involved in some way, shape, or form. I talked about how useless Fort Max was in the actual Titans Return series. He was useless, and that
truth be told, I actually haven't seen the Titans Return or Power of the Primes episodes. So, and Machinima is gone, so I'll have to find some other way of watching it.
Yeah, because they're not on YouTube anymore, I don't think.
Yeah, because Machinima took down their YouTube channel with everybody's videos on it, which apparently like erased a bunch of like other content that bummed out a lot of people.
Yeah, that makes sense. Jerry says, honestly, take away the battle damage and I'll buy a few of the ones I didn't pick up. I think the only problem is that those are Pulse exclusives too. Like, so you only be able to get them from Pulse until they go out to other. If I remember correctly, the battle damage.
I want to say they said Pulse. They were the Netflix ones are Walmart or something like that.
I don't know. Hasbro is putting a lot of stuff to Walmart, but let's get off the Transformers for right now. We got a lot of Gundam stuff to get through. They're hosted now on the Rooster Teeth website, so I guess you can go watch the Machinima series on the Rooster Teeth site. If you
have to get up the resolve to do so.
Yes. New review series.
No,
not worth reviewing. I will say that the way they did the Dinobots in the last one, Power of the Primes, that they did them dirty. That's all I gotta say about it. Not happy with what happened to the Dinobots. And once they brought in Overlord, it was just ridiculous. So, all right, guys. So let's talk about this week's episode. But first, quick promo, because we didn't talk about our other stuff from last week. Of course, the new contest is live. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go back into the channel. Go look at the announcement video for the MS100. And some new rules and stuff have changed. I brought that up last night. And there is one person who is still so very gung-ho. He's already submitted his freaking entry. Still didn't 100% follow the rules, so I had to send him back an email. So, fix it. Fix it. All right.
I ordered my kit for it.
Cool. Eric actually, who's in the comments actually, Eric was asking me, so can I use your set to take pictures of mine? And I'm like, I feel like somehow that is like cheating. I don't know. It felt weird. I was like, maybe we should build you your own photo set. Because it's not hard. But I told him, I was like, okay, if you do that, I can't be in the room or know what you're doing. You can just make use of it to take your pictures, and then I got to be elsewhere. Because that would be very, very. Even though I can see it in person, that's a leg up over the competition, and that's not fair. So I told him, I was like, look, it's like you can bring it over, you can take pictures, but I can't see it, and I can't know what you're doing, and I can't help. So
what's been funny is for the past couple days, I've been agonizing over what I wanted to do. I had like 15 tabs up of different kits that I was thinking about, and I picked one. And it's like, well, I could ask Shoki what would be a good option. Wait, no, that doesn't work.
I mean, you can ask me things that don't really hurt anything. That's fine. Because if somebody else that doesn't know me directly is asked me a question about something, I'm going to answer them.
Well, I was having trouble making a decision. So what I ended up doing was I went to my wife and was like, okay, these are two that I'm looking at. What do you think? She's like, that one.
Flip a coin.
Well, she just looked at him in like 2 seconds, like, no, that one. Like, oh, okay, I'm getting this one then.
Yes. All right. So
I'll have videos up on that in the near future.
I'm doing a thing just real quick because I need it for a minute from now. All the things. So, guys, this right here on screen, since we're going to get into the episode, is the greatest thing I have ever seen.
It made him so happy when he saw this.
The tractor is real. Dude, like literally, I was watching ahead last week. I just had time, so I started watching ahead. And this is within the first 3 minutes of the episode, not counting the intro. And I'm like, what the fuck?
I get a message from you going, it's like, the tractor is real.
Literally, the tractor is real.
I'm like, what are you talking about, Shoki?
If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, go back into my reviews and go look up the tractor. It's one of my customs. I did not know that this was a thing because I'm only just now seeing these series in its complete form. Like, this thing is almost what I built. But now that I know it's a thing, I'm going to get to customizing further and actually build a more accurate tractor. But it's awesome that they had a mobile worker made for Earth use that has tank treads and what appears to be it actually very much looks like a gun tank base because it's got like the same lights and stuff down there. And then I guess all I need to do is figure out how that big shovel bit is attached to the arms, and then I can make that work. A blue collar Zaku. Oh, see, he'd have thought it's what I based my custom on. No, I didn't know this was a thing. I made the custom just for fun, thinking it would be a great idea. I didn't know it was a real thing, and I never saw it before. Literally until this past Thursday, I had never seen this thing before. No, not even this past Thursday, the week before. So I was just like, oh my God. So I can get rid of that now. But that just made me so happy that the tractor is real in universe, and I just so happen to create a thing that's basically that. Now, of course, mine just repurposes parts from the actual thing. But either way, back to the actual episode. So now I need my notes pulled up here. And we've got Gundam The Origin, Episode 7, Meeting Lala. Basically, this opens up on a casino-like area near a river, this rivery area. And definitely not on a colony, so it must be on Earth. And you got some very Middle Eastern style music playing. And there's a fight happening. You hear some screaming. There's a couple of guys. It's very dark. One guy's definitely wearing like a turban and a vest and stuff like that. You hear a girl scream. A light gets smashed. Yeah. And then I forgot the name. I think it's Agra. I forgot what the guy's name is.
Agra. I think that sounds about right.
I think it's Agra. And it's Agra, do it, or whatever he says. And this dude comes out of nowhere, goes after the guys who are coming at them with guns. One dude who's wearing sunglasses in the dark, as usual.
Space sunglasses.
You know what? Maybe he has pigment issues from gamma radiation. Either way.
You should show some respect, Shoki. Honestly.
No. And at first, it looks like he throws a knife at this guy. Like you see something fly, and then you hear in like his wrist that he's holding the gun just goes blood everywhere, and he yells. And then the knife comes back to the guy, and then all the other people start shooting, and then the bigger guy jumps out a freaking window. And then Agra comes with him. And then you notice, hey, there's somebody under his arm, and then they land in the water, and then you get a better look at it, and oh, hey, it's a girl with blue hair and a yellow dress. No idea who that could be. Intro. I mean, it is legit.
Yeah, they smashed right into that intro. Like
that. It was like a 15-second cold open.
Yeah, like nothing.
Why? I see 30mm Victors as the arms. That conveniently has 3mm ports on the tip. Chakrams are way OP for ancient warfare. I'm getting there, Jerry. Because at this point, you couldn't tell what he did. He just saw a flash of a knife, and then the guy was cut. You didn't know what happened. We roll into the intro that we've had now. And then we jump to, at least what I thought at the time was another place on Earth. Still very rivery. And as I wrote in my notes, you see the greatest thing ever. The mother flipping tractor. And like I said, I wrote this down. It's like I somehow predicted this thing without ever knowing it could be a thing in the universe. It's funny. But I guess what's kind of important is that Char is driving the thing. Yay. And we actually get to see on the inside, it is literally like a piece of construction equipment. It's just got a couple of sticks, and he's just got the chair. He's got a towel, his sunglasses. He's like actually become like a working man. It's kind of funny. But as a
semi-honest living.
Yeah,
probably under an assumed name and all sorts of other lies, but
yeah, God knows what to put his name as. Actually, he has no reason to lie. He could literally just say Char Aznable. It wouldn't make a difference. But like you hear a guy radio to him, or yells at him. He said, come on in, come on back. Time to quit for a little while, break time. And I guess he's just pushing dirt around. Because once again, they don't tell you when or where you are. Just thing is happening on screen. I think that eventually I'll have to watch the OVAs and actually see this for myself.
Well, we get the name of the group later on.
Well, we actually find out where they're at later. I actually had to go back and adjust my notes after getting the actual information. I don't remember if he's ever named here. No, nobody calls him by name. They just call him new guy or kid or whatever.
Hey, you.
Hey, you. But what I like is the fact that he's getting some mobile suit experience in without really being in a mobile suit. Like, because he didn't train in a mobile suit. He just requested to be part of the mobile suit corps if they ever called him back.
Like
So I guess he just found a job that would put him in a place to do such a thing. But like I said, he gets called to do a thing, and you hear who we find out is his foreman talking a lot of shit. He said those bastards at Zeonic are unbelievable. Basically, cutting back and pulling back on the lease of that. I assume he's referring to the tractor, because that makes sense. And he said, I hope they aren't, or if they aren't careful, they're probably going to end up starting a war. Yeah. But I guess because of what they're doing, what I find out later, what they're doing makes sense why Zeonic would take it back. Because as we discover later on, this is where they're building the Jaburo base. So this is a Federation sort of base being built, and this company is obviously contracted through that, so it makes sense that Zeonic would take back all of their equipment that they have leased to people on Earth. Duh. Especially if it's for somebody they don't like to be using it. But I love this. So he turns around and he starts to ask the kid where he learned to drive a mobile worker.
And he's like, those Zeonic bastards.
Yeah, I love that line. He's like, those Zeonic bastards. And then the guy's like, and he's like, and then I like this claim though, because he says he was basically working on the development of the mobile suits, or not mobile suits, but mobile workers, but he ended up getting fired. So fuck him, basically what he says.
Yeah.
But
he's just so calm and flippant about it.
But he's also not 100% lying, because he did
correct.
He sort of got fired. Sort of. Like, he's technically still military, still has his rank as a private, but he's dismissed. Like, I don't think it's a full-on, like, what's the word I'm looking for?
Administrative leave?
I don't think he's not discharged. He's still part of Zeonic forces. But I think technically, because they have to sort of keep those things under wrap, especially considering what he did, that's like just very hush-hush. So, maybe he's not using his name, but he's definitely got that towel. He's got his sunglasses on, his new sunglasses, new pointier. But yeah,
he's got his sleeves rolled up too, which kind of makes him it's sort of like his Quattro persona and from Zeta.
Everything about the design of his clothes definitely strikes me as Quattro. Either the sleeveless look or the like Miami look that he's rocking with the white and the black jacket later.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
He's totally like very like Miami Vice. But and then because I'm a jackass, I write now back to Canto Bite. gotta go to the casino. Now, what I thought they were doing here was jumping to another part of the world so we can see what's going on with the guys and the girl. No, literally it's the same place. I didn't realize all of this was happening in Jaburo. They just happen to have casino towns right next to the Amazon at this point in time. So they've cleared the rainforest to make casinos. So I'm guessing they're really
it's a big city, in fact.
Because
you see like the city lights from a high altitude before, and it's sprawled out, looking like a pretty decent sized city.
Yeah, I mean probably like a Reno, more than likely. It's more like it doesn't look super high end. That's one thing about it. You know, the lights and everything. And I forgot the name of the casino. It's on there. I think it's something Star Casino. I don't think it matters.
I was thinking it looked very Las Vegas like to me, but I haven't really thought about it.
Reno is just the shittier version of Vegas. So, but it's not as shitty as like Atlantic City shitty. So, you know, it's one of those things. It's South American Reno, kind of. But basically at this point I realized, okay, we're still in the same thing, and there's the foreman who is drunk off his ass, and they're playing roulette. I was gonna say craps, but no, it's roulette. And he's drunk, he loses bad on red, which I love that. It lands on red and the guy loses. Makes sense.
I didn't even pick up on that.
Yeah, he lands on. If he had landed on red 3, I would have been like, "That's cool," because at least that thing
missed opportunity.
Yeah, so they did red 1, and then of course this is Char's got on his going out outfit, so to speak, and so he's sitting at the end of the table. So it's with his co-worker and his foreman. Got nothing better.
He just looks completely disinterested on everything. It's like, yep. This is my life now. I'm here.
But he's people watching. And I think he does kind of enjoy that to some degree. Especially considering he's not having to fight for anything. He's just kind of having a calm, relaxing, boring life for the time being. Considering all the other shit he's had to go through in the last 10 years, I think he deserves that. But Foreman loses all his money. He turns around to the other guy and he's like, "Ooh, lend me some money. I'll pay you back on payday." It's like irony coming from the guy who pays you. It's like, "I'll cut you some money on payday. It's fine." He's like,
part of me's wondering if he like bet the payroll or something like that on all this too.
No, he probably just paid his own money. He's just a shitty gambler, which, you know, not everybody can be a very gifted gambler like the guy who ends up walking up on this moment and is like, "Hey, the boss wants to sit here." It's like, I wonder where this is going to go. So it's a big dude with the turban. It's the sketchy dude.
Agra or whatever.
Agra. And, hey, there's that girl. I didn't notice this at first. So unlike normal where I watch the episode through completely and then I go back and I watch it again and take notes. This time I was taking notes as I was watching it. So I'm pausing, making my note, and then writing down what I think is going on, stuff like that. And then I start it up and then I'll make corrections. So this oh, hey, it's some girl. I wonder if Char will take notice. And yeah, he does. So they sit down and dude just like waits until the thing starts spinning because you have a certain amount of time to pick your thing. So,
which I didn't realize that was a thing. I thought you had to place your bets first.
No, because you have until the ball drops, I think, to a certain spot. So if it looks until it's about to drop, then you can do it. But you can't watch it and then be like, "Oh, it's going to hit right," and then, you know.
Yeah.
So basically what you see is the girl that we now know as Lala. Well, they haven't said it yet, but we know it's Lala, is watching. And then she's drawing a number on the guy's back. So that really reminded me of, like, I don't know if you did this in school or with your friends or anything like that, where you try to write or draw on a person's back and have them guess what it is you're doing. It's funny because we get to see it, but that dude's feeling it. She writes 16, and so he bets a stack on 16, and because he got it exact, it's like 5 times the payout or something like that, 30 times the payout. And so
yeah,
starting to bank. and then they do it again. And so you notice that Lala is watching the guy drop the ball. And then as soon as the ball is moving, she tells him what number to bet, and he gets it dead on. So he goes a couple times on that, and then you start seeing the pit boss and everything start noticing. When you start winning large amounts of money, they take notice. Of course,
because I've written down, it's like the floor boss is notified, and they change the dealers out.
Yes, dealer.
Yeah,
but they switched up everybody. So basically, if a table's gone, if a table goes cold, usually you switch out cards, so you mix up the deck. Or if it's just everybody starts winning a lot, that means something ain't right. Either people are cheating, or the system that is currently set up isn't working. So gotta change it up. So he calls for dealer change. So now this really weird chick comes in, and she apparently knows she's in an anime.
I like her. She was funny.
Like doing this whole up and screaming thing, and she's like rolling.
Or she kisses the ball and then tosses it with a big flourish. She has super high energy.
It's like she's in a Yu-Gi-Oh anime. It's very Yu-Gi-Oh or some type of game playing anime.
Well, I think she even goes game stato.
She does. I'm just like, those moments really take me out of this show because it's so much based in reality, and then you get hardcore anime characters, and it's like, I don't know what to do with that. It's like, I know that was just thrown in there for silliness, but it throws me out of the episode for a minute. But at this point, they start losing money. You can tell Lala is not getting it. Dude's getting pissed because he loses all the money that he walked in there with. And then he starts, getting angry with her, and you see she looks disappointed. Char notices, and then everybody who's been watching the good shit happen is like, oh well, starts laughing and stuff. Modern day Faye Valentine. I don't know.
Huh.
That reminds me of an Antonio Banderas film. Char's pimping outfit. That's funny. Not entirely wrong. So that whole thing ends, and then we cut to outside. This one, I'm not even looking at my notes.
It's the next day.
Yeah, it's the next day, but realistically, it just looks like sundown. That's what I find really strange, and I think this might have been a typo or a mistranslation, because it really does seem like it's the same afternoon or evening, because it wasn't nighttime, if I remember correctly.
No, I want to say it was nighttime when they went to the casino.
I feel like it was evening. Maybe I'm wrong. But then again, that could have been middle of the night. Casinos are usually 24 hours. That could have been middle of the night. All this stuff is going down. And then, so we're outside. It's daylight, whether it's sun up, sundown, kind of hard to tell. You see Lala sitting there on the pier, on the dock. There's what looks to be like a tugboat almost sitting out there, a fisher boat. And she's just sitting there looking at a thing.
She's got a bruise on the side of her face, too.
It actually took me a minute to realize she had the bruise on her face. It wasn't until I sent you the screenshot for a thumbnail that I realized she had a bruise on her face. I'm like, well, he's a little pissed that she lost. Duh. Now, if I remember correctly, for her character, previously in the UC, I think she was part of a harem or something like that originally, not being used for her powers or anything like that. Like she had been sold off. I have to look that up again, because I think that was part of it. Because I don't
remember that coming up in when because it's been a while since I've watched the Gundam movies, and I've never actually watched the TV show all the way through. But I've been listening to this Gundam podcast that went over all the episodes, and I don't remember that coming up. But I can't
remember what it. Yeah, she was.
I seem to remember that they never quite explained where she came from.
Well, Androius just said it right there, because I thought that's what it said on the wiki. Is that she was a hooker, or at least worked at a whorehouse.
Oh, okay.
So, in this particular universe, she's not there. She's being used for an entirely different purpose. So obviously something's up. But so she's sitting there alone, staring at a picture, no problem. And then, of course, Char walks up. Very slick, mind you, and
Yeah.
Using all the suave.
Yeah, like, he's all sorts of charming on this.
He is all kinds of charming. Like, not like he's almost borderline like schmarmy, but not like gross. Like, just really laying it on, but like being super friendly, using a super manipulative voice. Like, I thought she was a purple-haired little boy for a minute. And like he just is asking, he's like, "Hey, what are you doing? What you got there? What happened last night?" And like he's like, you were winning so much. What happened? And she just kind of looks
like actually, didn't he say something that's like, why'd you stop winning or something like that?
Yeah, he said, why did you stop winning? Because he knew it was her. He was paying attention. Mm-hmm. Anybody sitting there would have realized she was riding on the dude's back. But you wouldn't be able to know how she knew. And that's what he asked. Basically, it's kind of like what he was roundabout asking is, how were you doing that? And
she's suspicious at first, but
yeah.
But he kind of like disarms her enough that like right when he asks her, it's like, so why'd you stop winning? She just mumbles something just like, that woman was bad at her job.
Yeah, I love that. And then she's
like, oh, I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, so and they don't really explain it at all, like what she was catching. So she was basically reading the way the person was dropping the ball. But you always see them in movies and TV shows where usually roulette is rigged, like they push a thing to where it'll land in a certain spot. But I think the way that she was being super flamboyant and things like that and spinning the wheel was throwing her off. Like there was no way for her to read what was going to happen.
Yeah, because it's not that she's like seeing the future. It's more like she is reading the possibilities, doing the math, the perception to see how things are bouncing and where it's going to go.
I think in a way it is seeing the future, but like only based off of what's happening. But
it's more. It's kind of like in pool where you're having you do the math and calculations to figure out where exactly to hit and where it's going to go.
Yeah, but part of me wonders if she doesn't know how she's doing it, just she has the ability. Because it's obviously, you could tell she concentrates when it happens, or whenever the guy threw the ball or would drop the ball, she would concentrate, and then in a second she knew what was going to happen, and she could predict it. So I guess just the way that the chick was doing the thing took away her inability to read it. Either way, that's not super important, but it is basically, like you said, it does disarm her. And she actually does mention it and then realizes, oh, yeah, I shouldn't have said that. My bad. And then Char starts asking her about the picture she's holding. And she's like, oh, what do you got there? And it's like, oh, it's a picture of my family. And he's like, oh, they're not from here, or they're not nearby? And she's like, no, they're back in Mumbai. And he's like, India, that's a long way off. That's when I was starting to realize roundabout where we were in the world. Once again, they haven't mentioned or said anything about where they currently are. But I guess if you know Gundam, you have some concept of that, but it's obvious she's not in India anymore. And she talked about it, yeah, it's that. And he's like, well, wouldn't you want to go home to your family? And she's like, no, I'm better off here making money, sending them money, helping support them than I would be if I was just there. They need what I do for them more than me. And it's like, that's actually like pretty meaningful, like in the world today, because that's 100% what happens, depending on what third world country people might come from. And you got to think this is however far in the future of our own future.
Right.
And there are still dirt poor parts of the world.
So the more things change, the more they stay the same, right?
Yeah, it's like we have new fancier stuff, but all the shit is still the same. So still dirt poor, still big family that needs support, and there's only so much I guess they can do. But I'm assuming that in normal UC, that's also probably why she was hooking.
Probably.
So somehow, way or another, this happens that she ends up with these guys. God knows how. Probably her.
And the two may not even be necessarily mutually exclusive. There's that could have been stuff that happened beforehand.
Yeah, So much like MCU Scarlet Witch is probably magic before they retconned it. Yeah. Jaburo, it wasn't an Amazon force, so they're probably still around South America in that scene. Yes, I am aware of this. The point is, I didn't know it was Jaburo till later in the episode when they specifically mention it by name.
Yeah, because I didn't pick up on it.
And you put two and two together. That's what Char is working on. Is just like
and really
it's one line. It's one line that connects it.
With Lala and the people that are basically her captors right now, my initial thought was that maybe they were, in or around India or something like that initially.
Yeah.
Until I caught that they referred to the construction company as Jabru Construction or something like that. I was like, oh, okay, so that big river at the beginning, that was the Amazon. And that means they're okay.
Yeah. Well, see, like I knew the name Jaburo. I knew it from Seed because there's a base in the same place in the Seed universe as well.
Oh, I didn't know that. Cool.
Yeah, and that's why I knew what it was called, and then of course I've heard it come up before in mentioning old stuff from the UC. Colony drops and whatnot. Operation British, that kind of stuff. But like for me, at this point in time, you have no clue where they're at in the world. You're just like, they're next to a river. There's a casino stuff. These guys are building something. You can't read the signs, so you can't tell. It's one of the few times they blatantly give you a sign to read in English. But except for the casino name that I completely forgot. So anyways, talking about the picture, and he's like, well, it's in really bad shape. What happened there? And she's like, yeah, after we went in the water, it got a little bit messed up. And then that's when I put two and two together that originally I wasn't sure where that first scene was. I thought they were kidnapping her.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought maybe that was also something that could be happening in the future. Like it's something that's going to happen. But it turns out, no, that was like literally a few days ago, maybe last night, who knows, or night before. And, whenever they went in the water after jumping out the window, her picture got damaged. Mm-hmm. And so what becomes painfully obvious at this point is that the guys they were fighting, the guys they were running from, some type of mobs, considering they've probably been pulling this shit in every casino they can go into.
Oh, yeah.
And knowing that these guys are probably Indian in nature, given their garb and things like that, they're in South America, which means they've moved from across the world pulling these things. So as Char's like, hey, yeah, we could totally scan this picture in, color correction, print out a new one, and you'd have a perfectly good picture. And like this instantly pulls her to his side.
Yeah. What's funny is when he's talking about that being a designer who's done photo touch-up work before, I'm immediately going, it's like, well, yeah, just adjust the levels, probably use the rubber stamp tool to get rid of some of the scratches. Yeah, I could easily fix that.
It wouldn't be that difficult. And, this is however far in our future that they could easily pull this off. The fact she has an
future Photoshop.
Yeah, future Photoshop. Take it down to Xeon Kinko's and get it done. Zionkos. It's even weirder than I said it that way. But this is once again top-notch Char manipulation.
Oh yeah,
totally. He knows this girl is special, and he's interested, which means he's going to do everything he can to get the information he wants out of her. Now he is being kind. That's the thing. His form of manipulation is both super intelligent and super kind and caring. Now, whether he actually means it is the weird part. Now, I know they have like a thing in universe to some degree.
It's debatable how much of it, because it kind of depends on like the canon that you're following, where in the canon that you're following.
That's a good point.
I think he fixed his paperwork for the military with future version.
But he didn't do it good enough because he didn't change the eye color. That would have been his out right there. Is that, oh look, Char Aznable has blue eyes. It would have been easy.
But there is debate on whether or not Char actually ever truly loved Lala, or if it was just all manipulation tactics. Oh, do we have another joke? Gorill's 5-minute photo printing.
That's good. I like that. But yeah, no, it's obviously the thing with Char, especially the longer he seems to go, the more off the rails he gets. You know, he's still super intelligent, still super powerful, but once he clicks, he clicks. So the question is, does he ever care about anything other than his own goals? And he's just willing to manipulate and use anyone he needs to get there. He's very this is the same way that what's his face in IBO did the same thing. You know, Char clone from IBO literally does all that same stuff. McGillis. McGillis is literally on that level. Manipulates everyone to get to his own revenge to some degree, you know, even emotionally manipulating friends. He manipulates the purple-haired rich kid to be his best friend and then betrays him. Holy shit, he is very Char clone-y.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Wow. Okay, I never put... Now that I see these things, I can see where IBO got that. That's fine. I've only seen Char clones in just the mask and red stuff situation. Never literally to that manipulatory... That's not a word. Level. But either way, so starts talking to her, and then you hear yelling boy in the background. So the boss sees her talking. He's like, oh, I shouldn't be talking to men. Oh, God. So he comes in screaming because obviously he doesn't want anybody taking his meal ticket.
Yeah.
And if she's known to be talking to men for work, one would potentially get jealous of some sort, you know. So he comes over. He's clearly about to hit her. He swings wide, like he's going to like really smack her, and
like practically knock her off the pier too, because it's not that wide of a pier, and he was really reaching back.
Really, yeah. Pimp slap, basically. He's going for the bright slap, but didn't have zero gravity to help him. One thing, okay, how old is Lala supposed to be? Because she's clearly younger than Char by size.
She's, to be honest, I don't know for certain. She's comparable in age to Char, because Char himself is kind of young for being, you know, an ace pilot soldier. But I do believe she's supposed to be a couple years younger. But
yeah,
I'm sure somebody in the comments will look up the Gundam Wiki and post.
Yeah, because I think she's like 3/4 his size, if that. But she's also, you know, got some womanly shape happening. But they also did that to Sayla when she was 10. So, you know, it's entirely possible she might be 10 or 12 and he's 19, thereabouts. Given the time frame we're in right now, he's probably 19 or 18. Once again, they don't tell us the year that this is happening until later. They actually give us a year on screen later. That's really fun. You see Char loved Lala as much as he loved his mother. Not sure if that qualifies anything, but that might be your point. But I love this. And of course, you know Char's going to step in. Because if nothing else, maybe not romantic, he sees a little bit of Sayla in her to some degree. And so this dude is about to wail on her. He steps in super seamlessly, like,
yeah,
and like
it was amazing.
Catches dude's hand, like just kind of stops it, like doesn't like grab him or punch him or anything. He just cuts in between, grabs his hand with little to no effort, and then I don't know, I forget exactly what he says to him because I was focused on the look in his eye, not what he was saying. Jesus,
yeah, because I have the man shows up and tries to slap Lala. Char stops and Char comments on what the cost of his boat must be.
Oh, that's right. He does mention how much is your boat.
And then with a psychotic look in his eye, OMG.
No, he goes, it's the same look he had, but a bit more when dude said his name. When Lino said his name last episode. But that's where I said, oh shit, he's activated. Is what I wrote down. But this is the fun part. So he says, how much? That's a nice boat. How much did it cost? Things like that. And the guy is really confused, one, by what just happened, two, by what this kid just said to him. And it's because Char can see what's coming. So here comes this black boat with big old guns on it, and just plowing down
like
on
a
him.
military patrol boat or something.
Yeah, and it starts shooting at the other boat. And what he says. So they start firing. The boat starts getting wrecked. Char grabs Lala and starts running, and the boss turns around and yells, "It's those bastards from Manaus," whatever that means.
Yeah, I got none.
And they blow his shit up, basically. And I love the fact, like, the boat explodes and you see dudes coming out of it. They're just like, ah! Just jumping out the sides of the boat. So there were more goons in that boat.
And I also like how he's like staring at, going, "No, my boat!" And then they start shooting up the dock.
Yeah, they start shooting the dock towards him.
Beats feet to get out of there.
And you see Char runs up the dock, and then there's the car right there, and then he's yelling, he's like, "Foreman, get in the car, let's go." And they got like a little crappy hatchback that they're all riding in. And like, okay, cool. He's got Lala. It's just him, his coworker, his boss. Let's go. We'll go back to the base. We'll be fine. And this is the weird part that they don't show on screen, but they get back, and dude is with them. Like,
yeah,
he somehow made it with them.
I want to say there are some other scenes in the movie version or the OVA version that
what, he runs up to the car,
that got cut out for this TV size version.
I assume there was a stop the car situation and he hops in or something, or jumps on the hood. I assume there's something along those lines like you would see in an action movie or a comedy. And so they get all the way back to their job site, and they're sitting in, I guess, the office or break area or something like that. And the foreman's like, "God, what the hell did you just bring on us, kid?" Mind you, he's still drunk. Well, it's the next day. Maybe he's just hungover. And dude is ranting. Like, he's so mad about what just happened. And so basically he's bitching about pissing off people, stuff like that. And it's at this point it's clear he's definitely angered the mob or worse.
Mm-hmm.
And so a guy pops his head in and he's like, "Hey, there's somebody named Agra here for you." He's like, "Agra? He made it." Because like he yelled for Agra before the boat exploded, so I guess he didn't even know if Agra made it out alive. And so, hey, he's here. Good. My number 2 and my most trusted assassin is here. So they go outside.
Will never ever do anything bad.
So they go outside. I was like, I don't know why he didn't just come in. Like,
yeah,
everybody's inside. Why not come inside? It's middle of the night. So that means that must have been sundown if it's nighttime now. So that was sunset. Yay. And I forget exactly what he said, but he's like, "Yeah, boss, I'm here. But I'm switching sides."
Yeah, I'm going to their side now.
I'm going to their side. And this is when you see the chakram that he has. He pulls it out of his jacket. So it wasn't a knife that he was spinning. It's about that big. And he's like, starts spinning it. And the guy's like, "I'll pay you whatever. Just don't do this. I'll pay you more." And it's basically like the "you can't pay me enough" bullshit kind of. He did sort of leave him for dead after basically getting him shot. And you can see now he's like scarred up. So he's
not in a happy condition.
No. And he's got something like right here. I don't know if it's a hat or I don't know what's going on with that. Or just his head is that fucked up now, but he's got scars all over. And he throws the chakram and it like basically decapitates the boss. Like it's just like, and he's like, "Ugh." You never see the head fall off or anything, but you basically see it basically go straight through his neck.
I think in the OVA version we see the head fall off. I think they cut that for the TV.
Yeah, I assume they're just like cutting things that slightly unnecessary. But of course, Char and Lala are watching this. There's like
Lala screams and
she screams.
Like, "Holy crap!"
Oh, apparently she was 17. But this is New Universe, so who knows? Which is becoming more and more apparent as we get into this. But yeah, he has. Okay, so this is funny. This is what I wrote. I said, "Oh hey, knife guy lived, and he's switching sides, and he has a chakram. Holy shit, he decapitates the guy."
Yeah.
So I'm literally writing the notes. So I like this, just writing down my reactions as I go.
I
and
remember
so he.
when I've watched the episode the first time around, I'm like sitting in the break room at my work because I'm eating my lunch while I'm watching this, and that happens. I'm like, like eyes go wide. It's like, oh, well, that just happened.
Yeah. So on Earth, we don't do explosions; we do decapitations. So he goes to grab Lala and take her because they want Lala, whoever they are. We'll find out who they are here in a minute. And Char goes to stop him. And he's like, you can't take the girl. And he grabs a shovel off the wall. I'm like, oh God, he's got a shovel. This dude needs to run. He's got a shovel. It's like, he's a badass with no weapons, and now he has a shovel. And he said, it's like, you don't need any of this, boy. It's like, but if you want to do this, he's like, what you prefer to lose, an arm or the head? I'm like, part of me feels like this is somehow a Gundam reference. Like, I'm thinking of the last shot, just like, missing a head, missing. It's like, is this somehow foreshadowing? But I could be wrong.
I mean, it could be because the Zeong, the head flies off of it to deliver the shot.
Yeah. So I was just thinking about that. So basically, he says neither, and he comes at him with the shovel, and the dude chucks the chakram at him, and he just kind of sidesteps it, and first of all, these things don't work this way. At least in Xena, Captain America that shit, and it would bounce off of things and then come back to her. This thing literally just goes out and comes back like a freaking boomerang. That's not physically possible, but it's pretty awesome that he's doing it. Part of me thought it was originally some kind of Newtype deal, like he's literally like controlling the thing with his mind. But I guess he just has some sick skills.
Telekinetic isn't necessarily a Newtype thing.
Yes, it is. But usually with Psychomew, you got to have extra. There's got to be more stuff to it. But at this point, who the hell knows in this universe? Dude is throwing a ring that's coming back to him. Unless he's got an invisible string on it, how's it happening? So it like whiffs past Char's hair. I think it cuts a little bit. And he's still wearing his sunglasses at night.
Because it's Char and he can do that.
He can do that because he can. So it's coming back at him. I think he had planned to get to the guy before it came back because he already knows he could throw it and return it. He saw it happen. So I think he's hoping to close the distance before that happens. And it's coming back, and it's like we go full slow-mo. And then Lala.
We get this is the first time in this series we get the actual Newtype sound.
Yep.
Complete with the Newtype flash effect.
Complete with the flash effect. And then it hits Char as well. Not as big, but it hits him. And isn't that part of the deal? Like, she was a really powerful.
Yeah, she was. Yeah. She was a very powerful Newtype. And technically, with the way the TV series was originally written, Char hadn't quite awakened his Newtype abilities just yet.
No, it took him, well, because it didn't exist yet. He was just very skilled. It wasn't until later in battle. Yeah. I had to post that. That was good. But no, as I read it up last week, reading about Newtypes, I was trying to figure out if my theory could be true about Char being the first cyber Newtype.
Mm-hmm.
So I was reading up on Newtypes and their abilities and how they form and things like that. Yes, I was doing research, fuckers.
Good on you.
I still kind of want to do a video on it. I still want to do a theory video on it. So I might do that later if you guys want to see that. If I didn't explain it well enough last week, I might do a thing on it. But anyways, so he connects to Lala, and then he just sidesteps it just at the last second. Doesn't get out of the way entirely because it clips his shoulder, at least tears his jacket. And the guy's like, "You dodged my chakra, or my chakram. That's not possible." It's literally like that's not possible, that kind of situation.
3 times faster.
3 times faster. So, but what I actually wrote here, because I keep doing this, it says, as it's coming back at him from behind, we see the first hint of Newtypery. he syncs with Lala, and now he knows it's coming, and he dodges it. Says no one can dodge this, so he throws it at him again, and now he's a lot closer. And I love this. Once again, we go sort of slow-mo, and Char swings the shovel at it. I think he's just going to whack it with the shovel, like the head, and it's just going to go ding. That's what I thought he was originally going to do. Like, he's going to sword fight this thing, but he's quick enough that he with a sword shovel. He's Shovel Knight.
I was about to say Shovel Knight would be very proud.
Yes, but he doesn't do that. In fact, he just swings at it. It slices straight through the handle of the shovel like nothing. But I think he deflects it a little. I think he just
basically it hits the shovel, and it's just enough to cause its course to change, so it's no longer a threat to him.
Yeah, and then the guy's just.
But there is something that's threatening right there.
This was amazing. I didn't see this coming at all, and that's why I love this series. Like, there's some things you can predict by what's happening, and that you know the characters enough. This was they're like, oh crap, his shovel's broken. Now what? And then I realized, oh, his shovel's not broken. It's sliced. And then he goes, flips it out, has the handle extended. Well, you thought I had a shovel. Now I have a spear.
Yeah.
And he continually closing the distance, and he buries this fucking thing into Agra. Say Agra. He just buries it right into his gut as hard as he can. And I'm just literally like,
does it go like all the way to like
it does. He goes through
handle?
It comes out the other side. Not like he didn't bury it. Well, he might have, but only that much is like sticking out. It was a short shovel. What do you want? And then you're just thinking, fuck, that guy's dead. But then again, he's probably an assassin who can just be like, that's only going to slow me down. And I think that's kind of what he goes for a second. He's completely shocked.
He's just screaming in a lot of pain, but he's still standing.
He's still
not
upright.
Looking super happy about his circumstances.
Yeah, probably wishes he had a gun. But of course, then he remembers that he has a chakram that automatically returns to him. And then
it's almost comical to me.
It was comical.
Like, I laughed a little bit when I saw that.
I thought it for a second, like when it hit him, I thought it bounced off. Like, just for a second, like maybe he's got a metal plate. Because you see the scars on his head. You see the scars on his head, which means either one of two things. He's seen some battles and just got cut up, or in practice, he has cut himself missing the catch. So that's what I was thinking. He's already got scars on his head. Odds are he's dealt with this chakram coming at his head, and he's had to dodge it or whatever, and he's gotten scarred. This time he has no ability to react because he has a shovel in his stomach, or rather a handle in his stomach. He's got a handle of doom. And then now
he does not have a handle on the situation, though.
No, but the handle's got a situation on him. Yep. So chakram to the forehead, fucker goes down, and now Char's like gonna grab Lala. Okay, we gotta go. And then at this point, it's just like, oh, hey, this is a compound problem. And then you're reminded, mobsters, have you all surrounded? So literally, all the lights click on. There's the fucktards up there that we've not been introduced to, but they're just mobsters who are after Lala. They're on the loudspeaker.
They are like mobsters that own the casino, because when they're shouting down at them, they say something about, we just want the girl, just give her over to us. We're not going to eat her or anything like that. It's like,
I love that
that's
line.
Where
we're
you
not
go.
We're not going to eat her.
But
I'm like,
say,
okay.
That doesn't inspire much confidence. And then they say, it's like, she's going to live like a princess in our casino.
I missed that part because I was paying attention to what else was going on. I didn't care about what they were saying. Because they kept ranting for a little while, and while other important things were happening, they just kept talking because apparently their lights don't work worth a shit. It's like they just completely missed the people running around in front of them. The chakram fight
they might have been going up behind the building or something,
or just up the hill in front of them, and they couldn't see. Chakram fight is pretty good and well animated sequence I rarely see in Gundam when it comes to hand-to-hand combat. I guess that's kind of true. Getting impaled is kind of distracting a little bit. He's like, my stomach, and he's like, oh, my forehead. If it was a different anime, he would have got up and still been alive, and like just kept going until he got hit by, well, what's about to hit everybody else. So Char's like,
to be fair, though, we did see somebody who survived a case of explosions.
That's true, but he's also a giant, and probably
this guy's decidedly not a giant.
he's a giant who's probably genetically manipulated to be a superior human, according to my theory. So Char's like, come with me, I have an idea, and he runs off into the dark. Gee, I wonder where they're going.
One comment I had written down is like, Char has this look on his face when he sees the guy go down after the thing on his head. I have written down, it's like, well, that's another body tat to the list.
I don't think he counts. If it's not a zombie, he doesn't care.
It doesn't count if it's not a zombie.
He has one checklist until he meets Amuro. It's like, until Amuro comes around, he's got no reason to have anyone else on his list whose name isn't Zabi. He's just killing because he's killing out of necessity, not out of want. He didn't have to kill this guy. In fact, he gave him another option, like, give me the girl, go away. We don't have to go there. You made me go there. In some ways, it reminded me of Daredevil a little bit, like just the way he could move, and like, you know, he's got the glasses, so he's like blind.
Yeah,
and like he's just kicking this guy's ass, not wasting any time or movements. Everything is methodical and thought out. Though he would have been dead had Lala not assisted him, which is the conversation we get to now, because they run off to go get in the tractor. And I'm never not going to not refer to it as a tractor.
Yeah.
Because that's what the fuck it is. So they hop in a tractor, which is incredibly inconvenient to get into when it's deactivated, because the cab is like tilted forward. You're like climbing the ladder, and like you actually see her struggling. And mind you, she's like in flip flops.
And a dress.
And a dress. And he's basically hauling her up into it, trying to get her into the cab. And for a minute, I was thinking they were gonna do just like this was almost a redo, and actually in a lot of ways it was a redo of episode 1 in the gun tank, or episode 2 in the gun tank, whichever the episode was, you know, where he's in there with Sayla or with Artesia.
A little bit, yeah.
It was because remember I said how similar, maybe he's thinking of her in the same way he would think of Sayla. And what does he do? He hops in the big machine and goes to tank some people, so to speak. The
main difference, though, is in that episode, in the early episode when he's in the tank, he's very, these are people in front of me are the enemies. And this one, he's like, so,
no, he's casual. No, he's casual murder. It's casual murder because he's all about that.
Because he's just looking down and having this casual conversation while we know he is running over these people. In fact, I think there is. I joke about.
He flat out runs them over.
I think there was a part where you see.
Yeah. No, it's great. But the funny part is he's asking. He's like, "So what was that back there? Was that you?" He's like, because I think basically he's like, "Did you talk to me? More or less, did you say something to me? You know, I had a feeling, all this." And basically, it was just like she could see what was happening, relayed that information to him so that he could react, and he caught that. She clearly doesn't know what her abilities are. She just knows she can do things. She obviously doesn't have control over it, except for like some hyper focus, like with the roulette thing.
Yeah, and even then, her abilities are limited at this point.
Yeah, but adrenaline combined with proximity to another new type, and then fight, and then
like in a war zone.
Yeah, so the abilities are awakening due to stress and fighting and adrenaline pumping. And so for Char, he's just doing what he do, and then he gets a signal boost, literally.
Yeah, pretty much.
That saves his life. And so, but as you're commenting, like before, he was very gung-ho and I'm going to kill these guys and all that. And here he's just casual murdering because he's a different type of monster now. not only is he a monster with a goal, he's a very highly trained monster. So he knows how to rein in that. So he can. That's probably half the reason he wears the glasses, is to hide the crazy. When it happens, it's literally a mask to hide the crazy. So yeah, he's just casually running over these guys who clearly didn't notice the giant other tank thing coming at them. I love this.
But Char didn't even think about, because like, if you walk by a construction site, do you think about being casually murdered by a construction vehicle?
No, but you probably hear it fire up when it's literally the hill behind you is where it's sitting. So assuming Char was, so the building is here, the hill that all the guys are on is here, looking down at the construction office. So they wandered off in the dark this way, went around the goons to get to the mobile worker, or the tractor rather, and then managed to fire it up and drive behind them and then run them over this way. Because at the end, he's using the shovel to pick up the cars and fling them off the edge of the thing. Not like it's a super cliff or anything, but it's the edge of that hill where they were parked. And yeah, he definitely casual ran over a lot of people. Also, great sense of scale there. You actually see how large those machines truly are. Mm-hmm. Like even the gun tanks, the early type gun tanks didn't seem as big when somebody was in it, because you're thinking kids were in the head cockpit with the door open, and they were, however big compared to the window, not a giant vehicle. So the mobile workers are actually even larger than the gun tanks are at that point.
At least the early gun tank, yeah.
And given that this thing is equipped with huge tank treads and base like that, which are actually a lot more similar to later gun tank treads than the early type ones.
Yeah, agreed.
So I might have to find an HG, if I can find an HG regular gun tank to scavenge for parts. I don't want to have to completely scratch build those treads.
Another detail that I thought was nice that show, again, like one of the big things that struck me about this was just how casual it was, is there at one point you see like his hand on the control stick, showing how he's piloting, and he's not like making big, gigantic anime motions. It's just I think like you even hear like the click of it, like it had microcontrollers in it, like on an arcade stick or something.
Yeah,
just very
basically what
slowly,
it is.
Calmly controlling this thing to kill other people that are in front of him.
Yeah, basically. I think the most movement he does is just picking up the bucket to dump the stuff. Which once again, I want to see how that's all connected and whatnot. So that when I have to customize mine, I know what it looks like. But he basically says, would you like to come with me? You can't stay here. You want to come with me elsewhere? And she's like, I mean, where would we go? America?
She says she's like America, Japan, and something interesting that I noticed. When she says Japan, she says Japan, not Nippon, which is she says
how
it
they say
the English way, not the Japanese way.
Yeah, because we're pretending that everyone is speaking English. That's the awkward thing about these series. We know they're all speaking a kind of universal language, but when they use words that are English
Esperanto.
words, it's funny that it is like she's speaking English, not Japanese. So you're right. She says Japan, not America, or not. You know what I mean?
Not Nippon.
Not Nippon. So I think that's funny. They sort of come away with her far away, to where I forgot what it says, where the stars live or something like that. I forgot exactly what it said. The stars are from. And, then they do the obvious zoom into space. It's like, oh, I wonder where he's going to take her. He's Newtype harvesting. English for all your space needs. Yeah. Shoki, one of the first Nekubosu kits, has a sizable caterpillar tracks. Okay. I don't believe those are big enough for an HG gun tank. We're talking about the Nekubosu kits. Oh, the Nekubosu, not the Kato Bosu. Maybe I'll look into it. I have not been able to actually find any of those kits. Anyways, So we go to the EFF headquarters because
we need more storylines in this thing.
Commercial.
Also, what the hell is pacing?
Yeah. Like where I forget, did it say where this was? Like where that base is? I think it said it, but I missed.
I had initially written down that I thought we were on the moon, but no, I think they're on.
This is on Earth.
Side 7 is the colony that Amuro and his dad are at, right?
Yes, but this is not that. This is EFF. This is on Earth. That's one thing that was important about this. This is on Earth. You see, there's no curvature. There's just sky. And he's basically asking them how the RX project is coming along. And this is where we get a bunch of exposition talking about mobile suits, technology. Then we get off into the fact that Amuro's dad studied under Dr. Minovsky. Yay! That's how, of course, he knows all the things to make a Gundam happen. And then the general or whoever the hell he is basically like, hey, you want to see this? And he's like, what is it? Just some leaked footage of test flights of their new mobile suit. It's like, what? And it's actually the Bugu test type, the orange one, the P Bandai one, doing its thing. And so they gave us the orange mobile worker as regular and the blue one as P Bandai. When it came to Bugu, we got the blue one as regular, orange one as P Bandai. So they're just making sure they balance out the crazy. Now we're getting into the meanwhile at the Legion of Doom. Yeah. Moments. That's what he just said. Hey kids, want to see a Zaku? Basically what it comes down to. So basically at the Bugu test flights, and this is funny. So he's in a room full of these military guys who are all sort of involved in this. And this is where they actually drop that they were talking about Jaburo base. Because one of the guys even says, hey, that reminds me of the mobile workers we use at Jaburo base that's currently being built.
Yeah.
Ding. So Char was working for one of the companies building a Federation base.
Which is especially interesting when you know that in First Gundam, one of the big events that happens in that show is he infiltrates Jaburo using the Zegok, I want to say, going through channels underwater. And that's when we also get to see the gems for the first time. Nice.
But yeah, so obviously he knows where it is. Now, mind you, he left while it was still dirt, but he knows what's up. But Amuro's dad, who's watching this thing go, is clearly shaken by this. Like, he is visibly upset and
that's what gets me with the scenes. He is upset. The others are like, what's this?
Yeah.
RCX whatever thing. It's got RCX. 10 times the abilities of this thing. Whatever.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
And so this, if you read the stuff at the bottom, this is like their first live fire test against an enemy warship, which is actually one of the cruise ships that we saw earlier on.
Again, upside down, like you've been noticing.
It was 100% upside down. So I'm always wondering now, have we always seen those ships wrong? Is the orientation always
just wrong? The civilian model is upside down?
No, because we saw
the difference between the submarine and gun mode for Shockwave and Transformers.
No, because it's the green ones that we've seen all prior to this were all upside down too. So, but either way, so they just basically shoot at it with their machine gun and it explodes. So their basic weaponry is enough to just take down a ship like nothing. And one of the guys just says, like you said, it brings up the gun cannon, the RCX 76. And it's like, it's more powerful than that garbage. And of course, his dad, which is Tem? I forgot what his name is.
Tem, yeah.
Yeah, so he calls him Ray. He calls him Ray at one point. He's just calling him by his last name, but I'm not going to call him Tem because it just sounds funny. And then they get off into why they're not worried about this. Because, oh, hey, the reason why we have all this footage is Dr. Minovsky is defecting. He's leaving Zionic, and he's going to us. No, wait, no, he's going to Anaheim. That's right. Anaheim, it's kind of us, or kind of in the middle. Arms dealers. It's really what they are, right?
Like, technically, I don't think they're selling to both sides yet, but that's mainly because they're not both in combat yet.
Yeah. So they're like, yeah, he's defecting. He's going to there. We want you to go to the moon and kind of intercept him. And this is the thing I was trying to figure out. So they've already arranged for Anaheim to take Minovsky. He's going to go to them, and this is where I was confused. Is he supposed to be going to the EFF or just staying at Anaheim to work on their project? But he also mentions it'd be a great big help in the Gundam project. He didn't say Gundam, but the project you're working on inside 7. Project V or whatever. That all that stuff came out of that we know of later. But this is where I was confused, because he tells him go to the moon base and intercept him at Anaheim. Which is like, so I'm like, why does he need to intercept him? Like,
why Tim Ray? I mean, this sounds like,
because nobody knows who the fuck he is.
Not to mention, they're so big on the fact that they have these mobile suits now. Why don't they just send those to get the guy instead of, one of the eggheads?
Yeah. Was he Zuda before or after the Bugu? Way after Bugu. Bugu is number 4. That's like very small model numbers. Zuda is way later. He said it took me forever to figure out that Tim was Amuro's dad. Yeah. Australian spaceships are upside down. There we go. No, they're just down under.
Southern Hemisphere.
Yeah, they're on the southern side of the moon. But basically they send him to the moon, and he goes to the moon. And this is the first time in this entire series they show us the date on screen. And by that I mean the year. It's 0078. Nothing important's happening anytime soon, right?
Nope.
Nope. Didn't say what month or day or Tuesday or fucking what anything. Just 0078. It's
obviously a Tuesday.
I would argue it probably is a Tuesday. Maybe a Thursday. Thursdays are usually pretty bad for me. Like, if I'm going to have a bad day, it's going to be on a Thursday. So I like to think that Dr. Minovsky probably has a bad day on a Thursday. So he lands at the Granada base. So, and I do like the fact that in all of this, they actually give us some mapping of the moon. So, like, here's Granada, here's Anaheim, here's
Von Braun.
Yeah, Von Braun. But at this point, you get some blonde chick who is landing with a Zeon Major. No one important, right? Her Excellency Catherine. Yeah, Catherine. So should we do all this? Catherine. It's Catherine. Just remember, it's Catherine.
Not Cassilia. Catherine.
Shut up. It's Catherine. It's Catherine. Some blonde lady being escorted by a fucking major in the Zeonic forces.
Not obviously her natural hair color, not a bad wig.
Yeah. Looking super, like, her face looked a bit older. I thought that was really strange.
Yeah, she doesn't look particularly. It's not a good look on her.
No. What's funny is when I first saw this, so I was clicking through and I didn't know, I had no context. I was just clicking through the episode and I saw her and I immediately thought of that bitch from Vist in Unicorn. And I'm like, are they introducing Vist this early? I'm like, I know they're around, technically speaking.
Like, technically, yeah, they are.
The Vist family is around. They were around at 0. So, but they're over there. They're doing their thing over there. Minovsky is racing off the end of his shift, planning to call out Friday. basically. That makes sense, actually. But she's got plans. You know, we got the plan. Go there. Shut up. I'm Catherine. That's not what I was even talking about. Jesus Christ. And then, oh, hey,
she's
look.
a little on edge for some reason.
Yeah, very on edge. And then, oh, look, Bugu and Zaku's. Just, actually, I think they're very much in the dark right now. Like, you just sort of see them in their eyes.
It's a really cool scene.
All of the CG in this episode is great. The only time I have a slight issue with the CG is that one kind of ship that Amuro's dad takes off in. Like, just that the couple times where it's on screen is the only time I think the CG is a little buggy. At least to me. It's just where the extra cel-shaded system goes a little too far. But also the overexposed light and nature of the moon's surface would make everything look weird when you're not in shadows. But meanwhile, at Anaheim. Meanwhile, back at Anaheim Electronics. Tim Ray talked to some guy about Dr. Minovsky. There we go. I'm just going to start doing that every time we have a scene switch. Meanwhile.
It's a good version of that voice.
If I could pull up a thing on the screen every time. Meanwhile. But basically he's like, hey, I know Dr. Minovsky's coming here. I don't know what you're talking about. I know he's coming here. I don't know anything about that.
They told me to come here to get him. Why are you playing this game with me? I don't know what you're talking about.
They don't. It's like the higher ups don't. The higher ups know stuff about that. I'm just here. Besides, what do we need him for? Our gun cannons are great. They just keep talking about the fucking gun cannons.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm gonna let you finish, but Xenon's got the best mobile suit this year. Everyone gets the reference, right? Yeah. Literally this year, the best mobile suits. But they're talking about the gun cannon projects coming along good. They actually keep dropping the RCX-76, which is their predecessor, the gun cannon early type. So we had the first rollout test type one, the red and white one, which is my favorite version so far. Did that model. Go watch that review. They actually see that. So they're talking about their mobile suits, and they're like, look, we know that Xeon is doing their own mobile suits. We see the assembly line for the gun cannons going along. It's like, look, their mobile suits ain't shit. Their previous model was great, but way too expensive. And we know their new one, the MS-05, it's a lot of cutbacks. They're not even, it's nowhere near as good.
Yeah.
So we were worried about this one, but they can't afford to do it. So they're talking about the Bugu. So the Bugu had a lot of development, it cost a lot to make the few they have, which is what happens when you have that technological leap. So the WAF, or the WAIF, they only had like the one. It was a test type. It's just the new system. Bugu was their bigger, better model. We had the orange one, and now Ramba's got the blue one. We know. We've seen it. And then the MS-05, which is the Zaku 1 in this universe. It is in the normal UC as well, but this is like a more developed. It's not even like an early type. This is like hardcore Zaku 1. They're talking about how it's not going to be shit. Our mobile suits are definitely better than their crap. Is really what
they are
get at.
So enthralled with their own design here. Like the hubris that's just emanating from these guys is just astounding.
Yeah, because they've been ahead of the game. That it's clear that they think, excuse me, they're still ahead of the game. By the way, I do have the MS-05L, the Zaku 1 sniper, sitting over here. So that's the other reason I was like, I know I have a Zaku 1 in my backlog over here. But this is where he goes downstairs to the lobby of Anaheim, which I think is pretty cool. And that's where you see the rollout version, the early rollout version with the red, the white, and all that. Still my favorite. I keep saying that because it's gorgeous. I love that color scheme. And I even wrote my notes. I have that one. I meant to actually pull that out for the review. So I'd be like this, and then this is where you get a really weird moment with Tim, and he's like, "This is not what Minovsky meant when he said mobile suit. This is not what he had in mind." And then he like yells it, like he's just like, "This is not what he meant." And just like, because you always think of a mobile suit, a big bipedal robot with guns. But his vision of a mobile suit is the Gundam, basically. It's like the ultimate expression of mobile suit technology.
And we know that Tim is a brilliant engineer. That's why they have him on board. So he's taking like one look at this, and it's like, this thing is not going to be up to snuff mobility-wise to what they're putting out.
And so this is the other thing I wanted to point out. So the one he's looking at is like prototype material, basically. So that's the 75. The 76 is the one they're talking about, the one that they showed the production line.
Well, and he was looking at the production line too, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was looking at that before, and then he goes downstairs and he sees the predecessor. These things could even fight off Zentradi? I don't know what that word is. Zudo's used for information to make Zaku, according to the wiki. Yeah, but it's also a different world. It's like you can't base anything like that in here because Bugu doesn't exist in regular UC timeline. MSO4 is the Zaku prototypes. Okay, so where am I here? Oh, okay, yeah. So now we jump to, I guess it was like the spaceport or something. And then, hey, check it out. It's a hover car. No, wait. Now it has wheels. Okay, that's pretty damn cool.
Yeah, that was...
And like,
it's a cool looking car too. Like
it's like a super moon buggy is basically what it is. Big 6-wheel hover car.
And it's a little armored personnel carrier looking too, particularly with the ones that they've developed.
Yes, but it's much more APC like,
but still some nice design work on there.
Yeah, I digs it. But I had like a weird vibe of like episode 1 of Transformers, like whenever they were still on Cybertron and everybody had a hover mode.
Oh yes, but particularly with the space highway that they got going on.
This was the other thing. It never occurred to me. So we know there's moon bases and cities on the moon now. They legit have highways on the moon in between the cities. I was like,
complete with road signs and street lights.
Yeah, I was like, what? Except for the fact that ramp looked like it just went off to nowhere. Did you notice that? Like, as you're driving off, you're just like, okay, where the fuck is that going? I was like, well, I guess it must be in a crater.
This way to Zionic, this way to Granada or New Von Braun, Anaheim Electronics or something.
But it's the fact that it was literally just an ongoing like vertical ramp. Like I said, it might have been in a crater, which would make sense. They're driving up and out of the crater, so that would actually protect them from a lot of things, like lunar wind. That makes the flag wave funny. That lunar wind. We did land on the moon, goddammit. All right. Thinking the Zudo was a prototype for the Bugu because the head almost looks like the same. Chest has a lot of Bugu flair, but the Bugu isn't real either. So what do you do? No, the Bugu.
Stanley Kubrick created the Bugu.
Technically, the Bugu, the prototype for all of their mobile suits was the WAF or the Waif, and then it was Waif, Bugu, Zaku 1, Zaku 2, so on and so forth. It's pretty easy that they just straight up number them. Well, I guess in theory the Federation does the same thing, but
well, Federation numbering system is weird, especially since like originally I think the number was intended to be the year development started on it.
For sure. That's why it's R78. Yet not real yet. Okay, fan blowing on the set. You mean no? Lunar wind. All right, but at this point you realize that because Minovsky landed on the moon. He was going there to do Xeon stuff. That's what he was going there for. And so at this point, the car and the people driving the car are Federation E people. I forgot what was it. I forgot what the name was. Was it TYM or something like that? Was there
TYM was the call sign that they were using, I want to say.
Yeah, so they're radioing ahead to the EFF. They get the signal. Map pops up. This is where you see, okay, it's going to be like a 10-hour drive from one spot to another. And then we're going to intercept intercept them at this one, and it'll be all good.
Hopefully
so basically, they're taking.
Hopefully, Bucky's is on the moon.
Yeah, moon Bucky's. But they're taking him to Blue Waffle.
No. Bad.
That's what they said. They said they're taking him to Blue Waffle. Or Abu Wafa. Seriously, I don't know what the fuck that is. I tried looking it up. It made no sense. But Abu Wafa is, I guess, another chunk of the city or something. I don't know. I don't care. But all I could think when they said it was Blue Waffle. So it is forever known as Blue Waffle. But at the same time, they get a reading. There's 4 Xeon suits on the moon, and they're heading for the car. They're still a long way up, but they're heading for the car. And they're like, well, what are they? Oh, they're just those new ones we were looking at. I'm like, fuck them. They're basically all aloof about it. They're like, we got this.
Send out the Iron Cavalry.
Yeah, the Iron Cavalry will stop them. Right.
Because our gun cannons are so much better than anything that that Zeonic could put out. We are totally going to beat them.
And I wrote, better send in the Iron Cavalry Squad. I bet that goes their way. Mind you, I've seen this battle. This is one of the few things I've seen from Origin is this actual battle. So I mean, I didn't know the stakes. I didn't know the setup. Just seen the battle. That's it. And the extra suit they didn't detect, I didn't know was there because I never saw that part. So I was like, all right. But basically, they're going to go and try to intercept the man who's been intercepted. But the other thing I wrote here, I like the Iron Cavalry, but that's not going to go well.
No, I feel bad for them, to be honest, because
well, we know
we're kind of jumping ahead a bit, but it does not go well for them.
No, they may as well have been colored red. No, wait, that's actually good. That's a good thing.
And their designs are so cool. I love that paint job.
I do too. I like that version of the gun cannon. I have it.
It's also P Bandai too, if I remember correctly.
No, Iron Cavalry was a regular one. All the other gun cannons, yeah, it's right over there. I know that was the first one I built. They only did, I think they did the yellow one and the blue one were the only ones that weren't P Bandai, if I remember correctly. I'm looking. Yeah, the yellow one because I had the yellow. The one that you swap the heads 2 ways, right? 2 or 3 ways, yeah. Different heads, different guns and stuff. So I haven't built that one yet because my patrons haven't picked it for me to build yet. Anyways, I like this. So the Bugus and the Zakus roll up on Char. I literally wrote, "Oh hey, Char."
He's just standing out there.
Just standing,
watching the world go by, look at the stars. It's like, yeah,
Twilight on the moon. And I just went,
it's good to be a badass.
Yeah. He literally writes Twilight on the moon. Like he's actually enjoying the twilight on the moon. And then all I could think was like, this motherfucker. Like he's like, he just keeps talking about shit that hasn't happened yet. I'm just like, shut up. It's like, Sosby ends up here. I think you don't even know exists for another 10 years, 15 years. But basically, they roll up on him. He's like, what the fuck are you doing, new guy? He's like, why didn't you tell us where you were? And he's just like, well, if I had sent up a signal, they would have detected me too. And I was literally like, the only one smart enough to not fucking say anything is the one they don't know is there. And the only surprise they get. Well, not the only one.
And they're all like, well, yeah.
Was it
your color's still funny?
Was it Mash who was fucking bitching at him? I don't know who's who anymore, except for Raw.
I just have them written down as the Black Tri-Stars because that's what they are at this point.
Iron Cavalry is like Custer's Cavalry version in the UC. Yep, kind of. All the King's horses and all the King's men all wound up like Humpty Dumpty in the end. That's nice. That's a good one. But yeah, he's just bitching like, you should have done this, and Char just being Char. He's like, well, if I'd done that, it would have been fine. And he's like, you should have answered me. Well, I'll answer you now. And he just keep talking shit. And it's like, and Rawl's like, shut the fuck up, because they could tell something was coming. Rawl has a whole lot of Spidey sense moments in this. I don't know if you caught that. Like, there's no way. Like, he turns around like, they're coming. And then like later on, he turns around like, oh, we got to go get that. Like literally, he's always turning to notice the thing he needs to notice. But it's not like he's scanning. Yeah. He literally does the, like.
Well, plus in theory, with Minovsky particles being out, their scanners and radar and stuff like that should just be complete and total garbage now.
Well, we know it is, because as soon as they fly into range, they lose signal, they lose communication. Mm-hmm. That's one good benefit of those things. Oh, but I love the main thing with Char is like, well, you still managed to find me, didn't you? I love that part. But I read time to rock and roll, and they run to go stop the car. And they're running, like they're booking, like with the Bugu, he is like catching this car that noticed him and is now driving off road to get away from them.
I love how they kind of Ramba makes the thing jump.
Yeah.
To go into action. And then you see like he picks up a bunch of smoke, and then you see the Tri-Stars jump up behind him and stuff. It is you can tell they spent a lot of time and money on this particular scenario.
Yeah, a lot of CG for this fight. But I think this also is immediately showing what the Federation guys don't know. Like they think this is probably a fairly slow-moving, bulky suit, and this thing is sprinting on the surface of the moon at least as fast as a car that was hauling ass, And not only that, but maneuvering like I mean, the Bugu is actually very maneuverable for its size. It was just super expensive to create. The whole point of the Zaku is we need a smaller, cheaper thing to make, but that are just as good. And then, of course, these are the mobile suit guys. Like they're the ones who have been playing with them since they were developed. They know how to fucking move, and they've been there to develop these things.
They were operating the thing that wasn't even designed for combat as combat machines.
Yes, and they're the ones who have made all of these advancements as they went. And so Rawl notices this little Federation ship pop up. I think they had been scout vessels, because they're small and there was no arms on them or anything like that. And he notices they're there, and then they see them and they zoom in on Rawl zooms in on the car, but it does the zoom and enhance. But then all of a sudden, y'all came down with a case of explosions, except those came from the outside, not the inside. Oh yeah, there was another mobile suit y'all forgot to notice.
I just love how he's just casually standing there, arm outstretched. This would be like a lousy Gunpla pose or something like that. Nobody on Instagram would like it, but
but it's epic.
Arm pointed up, and he's just firing off the shot without barely like changing his body position.
Yeah, literally just pop, pop. And then the other one, you have to like fly up a little bit, and he pops that one. And then if I remember correctly, either Mash or Ortega, whoever, looks over at him like, really?
Started without us.
And just like, y'all weren't here. Basically was his reaction.
Well, my thoughts was like, it's like those things, because I think they actually started firing on him. So it's like he just took them out. I think the phrase you're looking for is "you're welcome" or "you're thank you."
But at this point, the Iron Cavalry arrives, and they basically were looking to be shot at first before they did anything, and well, it's happened. So they dropped the Iron Cavalry. Now we've got 4 substandard mobile suits and 12 excellent mobile suits coming after them. I'm sure this is going to be a great battle.
And actually, this is where they really illustrate, I think, what this gun cannon is lacking. Because when they're coming down, they are slow. They are awkward looking.
Yeah.
They look like they're barely moving at all. I'm practically expecting them to like crash into each other because they're just having trouble just getting out of their own way.
Yeah. And while they managed to get off some shots, they all they lay down fire on the Zakus, and they just all stand there. It's like these things they're lowest level mobile suit was designed to take gun cannon shots directly and keep charging. These things, gun tank shots and keep charging. That's at least the same size gun, maybe slightly bigger. And these are far more advanced suits to that. They might be carrying small, lightweight shields, but it's made of tougher shit, you know? And they think that basically their first cover fire is just it, and they're done. Nope. Here come the fucking Zaku's up and over, and then the Bugu down the middle.
Actually, and they don't have a scratch on them.
Yeah. And basically what follows is just a lot of fucking Zeonic porn, just wiping the floor with blue shirts. Like, they didn't stand any kind of chance. They were shooting them, hitting them with heat hawks. I think they had...
It was brutal.
It was
Ramba freaking kicks one of them.
Yeah, straight up kicks one of them. And then Char... in the midst of them destroying the actual suits, Char goes after the dropship. And with 3 or 4 shots, like, takes out the guns on the top, flies over, takes out the guns off the back, and then
he does the surprise thing.
Yeah, he goes right up
the bridge.
I forgot if he
flies over, flies over,
took out the guns.
I thought he was taking out the bridge, but maybe I'm wrong. But he flies over, delivers a few shots along the back of it, the top of it.
Yeah, because he's taking out the guns
behind it, and then fires a few shots into the engines. Yeah. And I'm just kind of going, like, dude, it's already dead. What are you doing?
It's still moving. No, I think the first shot he didn't take out the bridge. I thought I might be wrong, but I know he took out the guns because there's turrets on top. So he takes out all the turrets on top, and he flies around to the back, takes out the turrets that are above on the back, and then he flies by and he shoots at the engine, just like you said. And then it just turns into pretty explosions. It just turns into pink and purple explosions. This is like, I love the sympathetic explosions starting at the back and exploding up through the mobile suit bay area. So if there's any fuel or ammo or stuff that's there, it's just exploding from back to front and then just gone. And mind you, that the biggest explosion, he took down 3 ships. That's it. While the other guys are dealing with at least 4 apiece. If Ramba's even fighting them, he's fighting a couple, but then he's also trying to get the Doctor, which is the whole goal here, is to either kill or capture the Doctor. And he won't let him go, but he's willing to capture him rather than kill him. But if it's the only option, he'll do it. But my favorite moment was like the Black Tri-Stars working together as a team, where one just machine guns the crap out of one of the Iron Cavalry, and it's still standing. And then the other jumps on his back with the bazooka and just shoots it point blank with the fucking bazooka. I was just like, damn, man.
It's like an early version of their, I think it's called the Slipstream attack or something like that we see them use in First Gundam with the Doms.
Yeah, well, the Slipstream is where they're running in a line together, so it looks like
there's
only
3
one.
of them, and then they'll jump up.
Yeah. So you're
one after another, something like that,
to
deliver attacks.
Yeah.
And so you can sort of see this is where that is coming from.
Yeah. I just love the fact that he just whoop and you think he's like far away enough. He's using a bazooka. No, they're like 80 feet. Like just like
it's overkill.
Like overkill. And then I think that was the last one to die before they cut to the next part, which is Ramba, who turns around once again, turning and noticing. And so the car had been damaged, like the wheels had gotten knocked off by somebody.
Ramba shot the wheels. He was trying to disable the vehicle.
I couldn't remember who shot it. I didn't know. I just know it got hit and then crashed. I didn't remember who shot it or if it was on purpose.
It was Ramba, because I remember that scene. Yeah.
Okay. Well, good. But anyways, so he notices that, oh, hey, there's tiny people running around. This is probably not going to end well.
And he's trying to get, I think it's Gaia, to stop what he's doing.
Gaia is now chasing down this left meandering gun cannon that's running towards the Doctor. But basically, don't do it, because the only got left is his axe. Did I? Wait, hold on. Where did I write this? Okay, I wrote it in the comment or the description. I couldn't. It's like I know I wrote this down, but I didn't write it in my notes. I wrote it in the description of this live stream. Apparently, Dr. Minovsky got his PhD from the Promethius School of Running Away from Things. For anyone who knows what I'm talking about, basically he whacks a gun cannon and it just right on top of him. Now, for a second, I was thinking maybe Char was going to swoop in and grab him, and I was like, no, he's dead.
No, he's super dead.
He's super dead. Yeah, well, he did sort of die on screen, but we didn't splat, so maybe he could still be in the moon dust and gets away. The hatch was open. He just went inside the hatch. It wasn't even an explosion. He just fell on top of it. And then this is where we get the scene that I used for the thumbnail, where Char just enjoying the havoc they just raised on the moon. And you see him inside the cockpit. You get that concentrated stare with his helmet and all that, and then this beautiful burning scene.
Mm-hmm.
And then it zooms out, like from the surface of the moon. You see the smoke that's coming up from the fires. Sure. Space. Fires happen. Fires that don't need oxygen to burn, sure.
Well, if it's getting the oxygen from the suit or something like that.
Still, smoke wouldn't be... I mean, smoke only rises because it's a temperature differential through the atmosphere. What would smoke do in a fire in 0G? It would just disperse somehow.
But that doesn't look as cool.
I don't think it wouldn't work. Unless it's... Yeah, Gundam side story, Minovsky's return. Cyber Minovsky. He's half robot.
Comes back with robot parts.
Yeah. Him and Jimbo.
Now I am Gundam.
Hold on. We get a series where Jimbo and Minovsky now have a beach house somewhere and they're trying to live peacefully in their 90s. Secretly, they never died. It's very Odd Couple-ish.
I was about to say The Odd Couple.
I want to see this. Somebody draw this up. But basically, at the end of the episode, and yeah. As I wrote, Char stands looking awesome after taking out the dropship.
Yeah, I have written down. It's like we end with Char looking over the field of combat. He barely fought, but has greatly shown what this new era of combat is all about.
Yeah.
Because like he didn't do much in the battle itself, but he showed what mobile suit combat is going to be about, which is, you know,
and
how they can take out these ships and yeah.
Yeah, and that's what Tim went out there for. Tim wanted to observe, so they were at a distance from the battle, but he could still see it. They were non-combatant.
Probably got a lot of good info on that.
He was upset that Minovsky was killed.
He's probably also going to need several new pairs of underwear after everything that he just went through.
Yeah. Okay, I understand that they can burn, but how does the smoke go up in a straight plume in space? I just want to know these things. I'm not being an asshole. I'm actually asking a legit question. But anyway, it was a good episode. Great episode.
Very good episode.
A lot of stuff happened. But you can also see where they have combined the OVA stuff in really odd ways. Like the Lala stuff. Like I could see the end chunk of last episode and the beginning chunk of this episode being together as one thing. Him leaving Munzo, coming to Earth, getting the job, meeting Lala, getting ready to go back to space. There's an episode. And then he's now back in space. The stuff that happens in this episode and next episode go together, which makes way more sense. It's like the splits are really strange in the way they divided up these things along, rush things. Yeah, Newtype magic. No. It's not green particle shit. We have new types now. I still want to know what Catherine was up to, and I know we're going to find out eventually because jumped ahead slightly. So I know she's coming into play next episode, and I believe that has something to do with Lala. I could be wrong. Because they're there for a reason. But, if they knew Minovsky was coming there and all these other things, I don't know. I'll watch it. We'll talk about it next week. It's fine. Well, you won't. Right?
Yeah, I will be absent for the next episode.
This jerk won't be here. That's okay. We get Joey back. So that's fine. So, guys, thanks for watching. As always, if you have any thoughts, comments, or anything else like that, leave them things down below, because nobody ever comments on these episodes. They're just here for the live streams. But if you're watching after the fact, yay! And next week there will be the return of the hilarious thumbnails. I don't know what it'll be yet because I haven't watched the episode, but I know that Joey will be Ramba somehow. He has an interesting reaction face. I know I saw in flipping through the episode. So that will be Joey next week. Superimposed mustache and all. And of course, go check out this guy's channel. Do you have anything coming up this week?
Let's see. This worked last time, so please check out my Transformer review, because it hasn't gotten a lot of reviews. But the last time I said something like that, it shot up and got normal number of views. So I reviewed Target Master Hot Rod last week.
Hot Target.
Monday, I haven't uploaded it yet, but I'm gonna have the update for my what I'm doing for the Notchin contest for Zaku Aurelius.
Oh yeah. Because you haven't shown any updates on that. You've been very secretive.
And Friday should be the next episode of, as it were, of my Rodimus review, but it's going to be a unexpected entry, and I'm going to have fun with that.
Okay. I do have, tomorrow is the last episode of MP Monday for the Constructicons, where we will be forming Devastator. So yay for that. So if you guys have been waiting for the Devastator combination, it happens this week. And then I actually have to go back to doing other things. Then I also have the only other review I've got done, I filmed right before this happened, literally 8:05. I don't even know what time you messaged me. I literally stopped filming, jumped over here to do this. So got a review coming up. I don't know what day, maybe Tuesday. It's one of the latest Gunpla builds I actually did, plus a 3-way comparison of other things. So actually, I still need to get the thumbnail. I'll do that tomorrow. I do have action figure reviews that will be coming up on the Shoki Reviews 2 channel. Thanks to all the people who have been popping up over there. It's getting more subscribers, so cool. So I have. Oh, I forgot. I picked up more the other day. I have four action figure reviews coming up there. Patrons, there will be out-the-box reviews coming that I forgot that I didn't post. I've uploaded them. I forgot to post them.
Oops.
So that's my fault. And I'll probably film a Master Grade Monday unboxing tomorrow.
Ooh.
Because I did purchase a Master Grade not long ago that I need to start building. So, guys, stick around and do all the things.
Super Secret Project?
No, Super Secret Project is something completely unrelated. I need to get back on the Super Secret Project because I haven't touched it in a week. Actually, longer than a week. I haven't even finished Archie. I got to get back to work on that. Of course, go check out the MS100 contest. If you don't know anything about it, by all means, go check out the links. I'll put a link in here. By the way, I never put anything in the description last week. I think because of the weirdness I was having, it deleted the description I put in there, so there was nothing. So I updated it this week. So we'll catch you guys later. Remember, as always, to keep on nerding, keep on building, and let's keep building this community.
And I'll see you.
I was seeing how long you were going to wait. I was also working on a burp that was stuck in my throat. So go ahead.
And I'll see you the next time you invade my shelf space.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.